we're dependent on Esau, man. And this is the man that smote us with a continual stroke, you know. So the time that we will no longer stay upon him and will stay on the Lord is coming to a head right now, man. You know, that's the kind of really going through. Yeah, kind
of. This is Psalms 52 and 4. It says, "Have the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread? They have not called upon the Most High. There were they in great fear where no fear was."
Right, so they got the Bible, they've been had the Bible. They want to play this game like they've been nurturing us and keeping us, giving us rights and all of this other madness, but they've been corrupting it, slowly corrupting us.
Well, it says
through entertainment, through religion, through all of these different facets of institutions that they set up.
Well, you know? the new age of social media has really put a
the final blow.
It's like that social media it's a final blow, man. The mindset of these people now is just demonic. It's really
everybody
decadence.
Everybody got a camera.
Like it's decadence, like fucking decadence. Like you got a bitch who just had a baby, want to be half-ass naked. Like possibly Gabar say gyrating on motherfuckers and shit. And then now everybody turned and mad at the boyfriend, the husband, for what this bitch is doing.
Yeah. She out naked, but she, you know what I'm saying? Like
and everybody justifying it, like he ain't put no ring on it, bitch, but he put a baby in it. So just because he ain't put a ring on the bitch's finger, but they together and just had a baby, so that don't matter. He got to put a ring on it.
He has sex.
Fuck you in that ring.
Get right.
No accountability.
You want a ring? I'll give you a ring, bitch. I'll give you a ring around your fucking neck. A ring around your eye. A fucking ring.
Perfect spot.
You see the video I posted in the group chat with Charleston White was talking about like organ harvesting.
It's like, say it again.
Charleston White was going into like as far as like media and what they've been doing as far as like they want the youth to kill themselves off so they can harvest the organs because there's more money in it.
Yeah. That's old. Fuck Charleston White. He watch us. Like,
no, I'm saying
all these motherfuckers watch what we've been bringing out. Watch the message of the prophets, and then they act like they just so high and mighty.
They bring it out like
they can bring it out.
Or like the
fuck all you niggas.
The little fucking event with Drake with the chariot and the missile just recently, like a few days ago.
Fake phony ass. What was you niggas at 2007?
No beards.
2008. 2009, 2010. Wasn't nobody speaking out about nothing. Alright? You niggas weren't talking about a fucking thing. The prophet's been talking about this. All of the evil and the witchcraft and the sorcery and all that, man.
And then back then
it was pill popping and everybody having fucking fun,
that's
man.
it.
Everybody was having fun, pill popping, ecstasy. Remember, it was a time when ecstasy got big. 2008, 9, 10, 11. You brought out Future.
Oh yeah.
Syrup.
What they call syrup and shit. What they call it a certain music genre. No, it's like pill popping music, syrup, something like that.
But now you niggas wanna
I remember
get y'all funky asses on YouTube and hit the record and, you know, act like y'all been about this.
Like Ice Cube.
Fuck Ice Cube.
Now they coming out.
He just made another video. But no, but like here's nothing.
He a plant. He a plant of confusion. Every time I see a celebrity, I just don't like these motherfuckers. Every time I see one of these niggas, they want to speak about the truth. They not about the fucking truth, man. Yeah. When it's convenient, because they stopping you from the big three. Now you want to come out and speak about the wickedness because they stopping you from doing shit. So now I wanna expose the industry.
He was talking shit against Kanye West when he came out. When he said what he said.
Fuck out of here, nigga. You the one who started the shit. Kanye West made mention of it. Nigga, we got the tapes. We got the tapes of you speaking against the Jews, man.
Nigga, we see you.
We got the tapes.
Right.
Thing is, man, a lot of the celebrities, man, they made it all the way up to the industry.
They planned
before they found this shit out too. Or not the shit, but you know,
they
claim that they so enlightened. Yeah. But you in the industry, you just sold your soul. You didn't stop before that.
They plants.
But going back to Psalms 50.
Now they may not get to a high level because they may not do certain acts, so they can be on a little base level. You know, or certain they can have a couple millions, but they may not have like 500 million. It's different brackets to that shit.
Yeah.
You know, you could be like you can have like, you know, network of 10 million. Then you got other niggas that's like network of 50 million. You got other niggas that's network of 100 and something million.
And they can take it away.
Yeah, those are, yep.
It's different brackets. It's different brackets. You know?
The 20 mil.
So how much? So Beyonce, Jay-Z, Rihanna.
They just named their daughter Ivy with Illuminati's. What is it? What was it stand for? Illuminati's very youngest. Illuminati's very youngest. They named their daughter Ivy, and that's what they said it was stood for. You know, yeah, man.
That's what's up.
Yeah, but there's another. They did something else. Something else. Anyway, Psalms 53, back at verse 5, it says, "There were they in great fear, where no fear was. For the Most High had scattered the bones of him that encampeth against thee. Thou hast put them to shame, because the Most High have despised them." Like you said, you know, they act like they nurtured us.
Yeah.
You know, what was Django? He said, "Blueberry, didn't I give you the last of my apple?" But you're starving us, man.
Right.
You know, you've been starving us for the past 2 weeks, and now you just give us a bite of an apple. You know, Esau is he's proud, man. Very proud.
The tender mercies of the wicked.
Yeah.
It says, "Oh, that the salvation of Israel will come out of Zion, when the Most High bringeth back the captivity of his people."
That's all in the scriptures, man. So what the fuck is y'all Christians reading? What are y'all really reading with this whole universal salvation shit? He's always talking about the Israelites, man. From the front to the back, it's talking about a line that was blessed, beginning with Adam. Okay? From Adam all the way down. Okay?
Yeah, they want to take the blessing right out of our hands.
Yep.
With all the stuff that we've been suffering and been going through, you would think them the people that need salvation the most. Look at them.
Yeah.
It's a complete astonishment. Their whole condition is a complete astonishment. They're in every ghetto, in every city in America, all over the world, being treated like shit.
Yep.
You would think they'd be like, them people, they deserve it.
Nope.
But no, they don't want us to get it. That's through jealousy. The scripture say they despise our person.
Through envy.
Speak wickedly concerning depression.
Well, it's all prophecy though. So, you know,
Yep.
because what was told to the serpent and Eve, that between thy woman's seed and thy seed, enmity. So that enmity has been going on from generation to generation until we came as the Israelites, being the sons of power to the Israelites, and that's why it says Amalek is going to have war with the Israelites from generation to generation. So that's that enmity, you know. So it's all good.
Yeah, we've been beefing with these.
It's all good. We've been beefing with this nigga since the womb.
Yeah.
And then,
You know?
like you mentioned, Egypt. When we left Egypt, you know, and we was I think we was dwelling in what's that land we was dwelling in?
Hebron? Or was it Goshen?
When we was leaving, we wasn't dwelling in no land when we left Egypt. We was wandering. We was trying to get to
We had to
Canaan.
go through Edom.
We had to go through Edom first. Edom is always in the way to us getting to salvation, getting us to the kingdom. Edom was in the way. So we could have got right there.
Yeah.
Edom blocked us off. We had to go all the way around. Edom is always in the way of salvation. You know?
Then they knew we had an inheritance. And they was even there.
We said, "Thus shall I slay my brother Jacob." That eternal hatred spoken of in Ezekiel the 35th chapter.
And shit, they knew we was slaves in Egypt then. They ain't give no lend no hand.
Well, like you said,
We supposed to be brother nation.
Yeah, because you know what Esau, he said to the Babylonians, told them to race it. You know what I'm saying? So Esau always had a hand in the pot with these other nations.
First one.
Getting us, you know what I'm saying? Getting on us and shit. You know what I'm saying?
but it says in verse 6 again, Psalms 53 and 6, "Oh, that the salvation of Israel will come out of Zion, when the Most High bringeth back the captivity of his people. Jacob shall rejoice.
His people possesseth. His people.
His people come and bring back.
It said that Gabriel told Mary and Joseph that he's going to come and save his people. Matthew 2 and 4. He said he's going to save his people, the Israelites. Go ahead.
Again, when the Most High bringeth back the captivity of his people, Jacob shall rejoice and Israel shall be glad. There you go. And that goes back to when the brother was talking about the ultimate thing we're getting is the kingdom. The drawing back of the captivity, because we were meant to dwell in an abundance. All right? Esau has
That's
been
what the land of milk and honey was about.
Yep.
There ain't no land of literally milk and honey. The land of milk and honey is a representation of plentiness, fruitful.
Because you see that all the resources are being used up in this time. The earth's being dried out. You know, Esau is sucking the life force out of the earth. That's the oil.
Israel looks like a desert.
In certain parts, just technically they're not. On a grand scale of
Right,
things,
right.
they're not. But these little areas that they're doing over and over and over, destroying, you know, that
Yeah, because they do call, they'll call oil a non-renewable source, but that's not true.
Yeah.
Oil does get made.
Yeah, the earth replenishes.
But in a sense, you know, this devil is killing everything,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
plenteousness is not a thing. They just signed, they just approved, the FDA just approved the use of synthetic meat now.
Yeah, that lab-grown chicken.
The lab-grown chicken, the lab-grown beef.
Fucking what's the movie
got the
called?
meat
My man Will
No, Chris Tucker. No.
Fifth Element. Yeah, Fifth Element.
Yeah.
He the microwave. He got the food out the fucking microwave, and it was instant. So we living in them times, man. Fifth Element was in what year was that? Like 90 something?
It's like 99. I think.
You know? No, I was waiting for 99.
What was
The Fifth Element.
The Fifth Element.
that was the 90s.
It was in the 90s, early 90s, I believe. The Fifth Element.
But yeah, but
So we really seeing the
97.
97. The predictive programming. The predictive programming. You know? That people would think, you know, eventually they're gonna think that's cool. Go ahead.
you got something?
It's Luke chapter 1 and verse 68 says, "Blessed be the Lord, power of Israel, for he hath visited and redeemed his people, and hath raised up an horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David."
Right. It didn't say he redeemed
The world.
the whole world, as in every nation in the world. Redeemed his people.
So why would it change in the gospel?
You try to use.
Why would it change when Paul got on the scene? Why would it change? Here it is, Yahweh was teaching his disciples. Peter, well, if that was the case, if Paul came and changed shit up, Peter, James, the 12 would have been on Paul's ass. Like, no, that ain't it.
Yep.
Exactly.
You see? Because remember, Yahweh taught all of them. Yahweh taught the disciples first. So they knew face to face with Yahweh. So here come Paul coming in with a whole other doctrine. Peter would have stopped it. Because he was the head.
Hold on, man. I was speaking about Pastor Hard.
Stupid, man.
Verse 70 says, "And as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets."
Shows that y'all don't read the scriptures, man. It clearly tells you who salvation is for.
Right.
Hey, you got even Edomite scholars that know that all those the Gentiles and all those people talking about the Israelites.
Right. Well, I was just saying, when you see a lot of scriptures when it says Jacob and Israel, or Israel and Jacob, it's something called interchanging words. Those are interchanging names. They're like dual purpose. They're the same thing. You know?
It's speaking on his whole family.
No, his name was Jacob, but it says Israel. That means something else changed about it. Spiritual
No,
Israel.
because when it says Israel, it's speaking about the northern kingdom.
Yep.
Still Israelites. Some about the northern kingdom.
It says, "As he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began, that we should be saved from our enemies, and from the hand of all that hate us, to perform the mercy promised to our fathers, and to remember his holy covenant."
The mercy promised to our fathers. See, that's in Luke.
Yep.
What's the mercy promised to our fathers? Somebody get Ecclesiasticus or Sirach 44, and maybe the last 5 verses.
I got you.
I got it. This is Sirach chapter 44, and I'm going to start at verse 18. It says, "An everlasting covenant was made with him." Verse 17 says, "Noah was found perfect and righteous. In the time of wrath, he was taken in exchange for the world.
Yep.
Therefore was he left as a remnant unto the earth when the flood came. An everlasting covenant was made with him that all flesh should perish no more by the flood. Abraham was a great father of..."
Now, wait. Noah, who birthed Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Shem, the line of Shem, his son, which we are Shemitic. That's where Abraham came through. Okay? Faxad, Eber, Peleg. That was the generation of the Hebrews that had came. All right, and then on down the line of that lineage, Abraham came about. Go ahead.
It says, "Abraham was a great father of many people. In glory was there none like unto him." It says, "Who kept the law of the Most High and was in covenant with him."
So it was already a law established for the tablets. Go ahead.
And was in a covenant with him. He established the covenant in his flesh.
The circumcision.
And when he was proved, he was found.
Genesis 17.
And when he was proved, he was found faithful. Therefore, he assured him by an oath that he would bless the nations in his seed.
Yeah, he was found faithful when he had to sacrifice his son, Isaac. And he was going to actually go with him. But the Lord told him to stop. So he was found faithful. And many more things that's not written. It ain't just that one act. Come on now. He was showing nothing but faith. Things that's not even written.
He lived out a full life.
Come on now. How many years?
One thing.
Right. Lord highlights certain things for example.
Yeah.
That's the most important.
That sacrifice was a prelude to Abba, Abraham, Yahweh Shai, Isaac. Go ahead.
It says, "Therefore he assured him by an oath that he would bless the nations in his seed, and that he would multiply them as the dust of the earth, and exalt his seed as the stars, and cause them to inherit from sea to sea, and from the river unto the utmost part of the land. With Isaac did he establish likewise for Abraham his father's sake."
See, you remember Abraham had 8 sons. He had Ishmael, who was the firstborn, by the way. See how the spirit worked, because the firstborn gets the true inheritance. But it passed Ishmael. It went to Isaac, because he said, "Isaac thou seed shall be called." Go ahead.
It says,
this is what it speaks about in Luke, what it speaks about the fathers. This is going down the line of the blessings that came from the fathers. Go ahead.
It says, "With Isaac did he establish likewise for Abraham as his father's sake." It's like, with Isaac did he establish likewise for Abraham his father's sake the blessing of all men in the covenant.
Blessing of all men in the covenant. Scripture talks about the holy covenant passed down from the Father.
And made it rest upon the head of Jacob.
It made it rest upon the head of Jacob. Go ahead.
He acknowledged him in his blessing, and gave him an heritage, and divided his portions among the 12 tribes did he impart them.
See, now remember, Jacob had a brother. His brother's name was Esau. Okay, it was 2 brothers that was born by Isaac, and it's telling you, just like with Abraham, it was other brothers being born. It's telling you the lineage, the line of salvation. It's giving you the genealogy of those that's going to be that line of salvation, man. Abraham, Isaac, to Jacob, to the 12 patriarchs.
Can I read this really quick?
Go ahead.
This is Romans chapter 9, verse 8. That is, they which are the children of the flesh. It's like it, verse 9. "For this is the word of promise. At this time will I come, and Sarah shall have a son. And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac, for the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of God according to election,
It's the purpose.
might stand, not of works, but of him that called them. NLT says, but before they were born, before they had done any good or bad, she received a message from God. This message shows that God chooses people according to his own purpose. Right?
Yes. Don't shoot the messenger.
Right.
This is 2nd Esdras 3.
You stole it. You stole it. Get the Edomite.
Yeah.
Edomite elite.
He ain't steal it. It wasn't his from the church.
2nd Esdras, I'm going to start at verse, chapter 3, verse 7. It says, and unto him thou gavest commandment to love thy way, which he transgressed, and immediately thou appointest death in him and in his generations, of whom came nations, tribes, people, and kindreds out of number. And this is talking about after Adam. It said, and every people walked after their own will, and did wonderful things before thee, and despised thy commandments. And again, in process of time, thou broughtest a flood upon those that dwell in the world, and destroyest them. And it came to pass in every of them that as death was to Adam, so was the flood to these. Nevertheless, one of them thou leftest, namely Noah with his household, of whom came all righteous men. And it happened that when they that dwelt upon the earth began to multiply, and had gotten them many children, and were a great people, they began to be more ungodly than the first. Now when they lived so wickedly before thee, thou didst choose thee a man from among them, whose name was Abraham. Him thou lovest, and unto him only thou shewest thy will, and made an everlasting covenant with him, promising him that thou wouldest never forsake his seed. And unto him thou gavest Isaac, and unto Isaac also thou gavest Jacob and Esau. As for Jacob, thou didst choose him to thee, and put by Esau. And I love bringing that up, because the word put by means to reject. All right, so
the scriptures say he was rejected.
Yep.
It's out with tears.
Yep. It says, and he put by Esau. So again, as for Jacob, thou didst choose him to thee. You get, you got the book Who's Who in the Bible, and when you read about Esau, they'll tell you Esau is not of the elect. He is not predestinated as the chosen. It says, but he put by Esau, and so Jacob became a great multitude.
I got a piece of it. This is Deuteronomy 32, and I'm gonna start at 7. It says, remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations. Ask thy fathers, and he will show thee thy elders, and will tell thee. It says, when the Most High divided the nations to the nations their inheritance.
Yeah, so there's always been a division between the nations that the Lord had established. Nations don't belong in bunched up together. That's why this place is called Babylon, because it's a confused place, because there's different. Our power, we worship our power a certain way, and the heathens, they worship their false gods a certain way. And we merging everything together and having babies by heathens and things of that nature, that's a part of confusion.
When you have with what was it, Simeon and Levi, they showed a display about that. You know, when who was it, Prince of Ham?
Dinah, David, their sister.
Yeah, you know, but
I just read that. It said that the spirit cleaved to her.
Yeah. Well, they didn't want. It was looked down upon integration like that. That's why they did what they did. They said they would bring a shame to their house, basically their line.
Because he slept with their sister.
Right.
Yeah, royal bloodline. We got touching it.
Now in the kingdom, we were going to be able to deal with the other nations, and things like that, of course. But they're not going to be our, first wives.
They didn't have no Israelite going in.
Precept, just to back up what you were saying. This is Sirach chapter 13 and 16. All flesh consorted according to kind. And a man will cleave to his like. What fellowship hath the wolf with the lamb, so the sinner with the godly? What agreement is there between a hyena and a dog, and what peace between the rich and the poor? Right? So you can't force these nations together, because they're different. And every animal or being assorted to their kind. This is verses 17. For in the division of the nations of the whole earth, he set a ruler over every people, but Israel is the Lord's portion.
Right.
Whom being his firstborn, he nourished with discipline, and giving him the light of his love, doth not forsake him.
So this goes back to Deuteronomy 32 and 8. It says, when the Most High divided the nation to the nations in their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord,
their purpose is to serve the children of Israel. You know, because we're the premier nation in the world. You know, ain't no nation in the world like it unto us. You see, and that's why everybody hates on us. They got jealousy. You know. Go ahead.
it says, for the Lord's portion is his people.
Yep.
Jacob is the lot of his inheritance.
Right.
Now, if you look at inheritance, it says the acquisition of real or personal property under the laws of intimacy or something by will. So we are the Lord's personal property. All right, we are his inheritance.
It said, you know, they that touch you, touch the apple of the eye.
Oh, matter of fact, it says it down here. It says he found him in the desert and raised him. He found him about he instructed him and kept him as the apple of his eye.
Yeah, man, we're a peculiar people, man, and you trying to, you know, dirty that up and mix and mingle it, man. We're royal, man.
This is Psalms 147:19. It says, he showeth his word unto Jacob, and his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation.
That's why we're the only people out here doing what we're doing right now. You don't ever see any other nations coming out to proclaim, you know, their title of who they really are. The other nations, their purpose really serves, they're low. You know, you were made to be servants. But y'all, you know, that's why we can't quote the scripture last night. There was an error that proceeded from the maker, like Solomon said. It's weird to see this the way that it is. Seeing the heathen, you know, at an elevated status while the princes, the real true kings, are on the ground.
What's that scripture in Proverbs say the kings, on horses?
Yes,
Servants on horses.
Yeah.
Kings and princes walk on the earth. It says, and for his judgment they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord.
You'll try to pervert it, you know, or what do they call it? The obstruction of justice. You know, especially Esau, man, you know, framing more laws to just defend the wickedness that he commits to our people. You know, going back to the 1660s, when he came over here, man, there were laws that was written for Esau to give him, you know, pure immunity from the crimes he was doing against, was it Gad, Reuben, and Judah?
Eminent domain.
Yeah, allowing Esau to kill our people and suffer no charges. You know, they were allowed to kill them at leisure. And I go back to the headright system, man. That part of the headright system was part of the incentive was Esau could bring his slaves that he already had and be given a portion of land. But the incentive to come over here was to kill off Gad and Reuben. You know?
Literally, they had
so your
flyers.
incentive was, hey man, come over here to this land and have fun killing people. Not just, you know, game, but people.
They literally had flyers for that.
Yeah.
Go out west, move out west.
Yeah.
You had to take, you know.
That's why they call it the Wild West, the land of lawlessness.
Yep.
Called outlaws, because all they did was slaughter and take.
Got it. Yeah, but you know, that's why you don't know the judgments and you weren't given the judgments. Just defending that precept. What was it? What chapter was it?
That was Psalm 147.
Shoot, where else change? I got one. Baruch, chapter 3.
I got a point. This is from How White Folks Got So Rich. All right. This is page 40. This is page 49, and the table of contents. It says, citizenship and immigration for whites only, right? So page 49, it reads, the earliest Webster's dictionary defined the term American as a citizen of the United States or of the earlier British colonies, one not belonging to one of the aboriginal races. Earlier than that, the United States Constitution weighed in on the matter and established that for the purpose of white economic and political representation of blacks would be counted as 3/5 of a human being, Article 1, Section 2, Paragraph 3. But even this obnoxious affront was deceptive because blacks actually had no rights at all, not 3/5 or even 1/5, 0. It says the Supreme Court provided the coup de grace, and in the 1857 Dred Scott decision ordered that blacks were so far inferior that they had no rights.
That's why you had these movements though in the 60s where Jake was trying to fight for rights, civil rights, you know. And what was Esau doing when they would standing up for that? They were getting their ass beat.
Yeah, he's supposed to be free, but why we gotta fight for civil rights?
Right.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, even that book goes into it. I think it's like 1 in 17 white people, you know. Huh?
I got it now.
But, well, like, I think it's like, it takes like 10 or 15 blacks to equal 1 Edomite, you know?
Yeah, I forgot.
You come up with the 10 richest so-called black people. Their riches amount up to like 15 billion.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But there's an actual, where they actually say that like the value of an Edomite is equal to like 10 or 15 Judites, Negro men. So,
so this is page 70, same book. The table of contents says
well, that's fucking wrong because the scriptures say, I'm sorry.
No, you got it.
The scriptures say that we are special people.
Kill you. One of a kind.
All right? Fuck out of here. We above you damn devils, man.
In every
mentally,
sense.
every fucking aspect.
Well,
in
right
the
here.
fucking world, we are better than you.
Look at how low in our lowest state.
In our lowest state.
Right. I was about to say, look how low we got, and yet we were still able to.
You niggas still can't dunk.
I got a precept for you right here.
We're still able to come out of the condition that we're in, even as much as you know.
You damn bodybuilding faggots, y'all be shooting up.
Yep.
Jake can go to prison and get as big as you niggas.
Yep.
Jake can be a disciplined mindset and working out and still be stronger than you motherfuckers, man.
Yep.
Still be more athletic.
Real quick, this is Deuteronomy 4 and 7. It says, for what nation is there so great? Who hath the most high so nigh unto them? As the
That's why they said that Michael Jordan, what's his name? Tall nigga with threes. Celtics, he played for the Celtics. Larry Bird. He said that Michael Jordan was like a god.
Yep.
He was godlike when he was playing.
It says, so nigh unto them as the Lord our power is in all things that we call upon him for.
Shit, Michael Jackson was a god.
Yep.
What singer, what cracker singer just stand up? I had seen some shit yesterday, a couple of days ago. One of his tours.
Oh, when he had on the gold and everything.
What Edomite could just stand there,
right?
And niggas just go crazy.
Oh yeah, I see that.
They was passing out and all type of shit. That's a god. Niggas was
Crying
passing
and
out.
shit.
They were crying.
You can imagine people probably. I'm 100% sure niggas got trampled and died at that shit.
I remember seeing that. That was crazy.
Yeah. You know, people just going crazy. He just stood there. Motherfuckers passing out. Ain't nobody doing that.
Well, you see, you remember when he did a little move where he did sing a little note. He did like, and they just went crazy.
No, he say nothing. No,
He say nothing.
He made a little.
I had the CD. I had the CD.
Yeah. He came up from the floor on the platform.
Yeah.
No, he didn't speak.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He didn't
just
speak.
stood
He
there.
That was at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The niggas just stood there.
Popped on the stage.
You know, but it was something before the Super Bowl. It was when he was doing his tours. Like I said, I had the damn CD. Shit, my grandmama gave me the little collection. She had the collection of all the CDs of the tours and shit. I was watching that shit as a short. This nigga had motherfuckers going crazy.
Of all nations.
Come on, man. All nations.
Right.
Hey, check it out.
Chinese.
Ain't no Judite women or men going crazy over no damn cracker.
Right.
He had all nations going crazy over him.
Bruce Springsteen.
Ain't nobody doing that shit, man.
Well, what was I posted it just the other day on my channel, but I don't know if y'all saw it.
Ain't nobody did that shit before, bro.
That's why he hated Michael Jackson.
Hey, can I throw the scripture out real
Go
quick?
ahead.
This is I'm gonna go to Exodus 19. I'm gonna start at 5. It says, "Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me, above all people."
We above all people, man. Now you say in our lowest state.
Yeah, in our lowest state.
Jake doing all type of acrobatics in our lowest state.
Engineer.
Every sport that come out, Jake dominate.
They got to make new sports.
You know?
They had a meme in cornhole. The game, you throw the sacks in the you throw the sacks in the hole. Jake was shooting them like jump shots.
I seen Jake winning them shits.
And
They got live tournaments. They got tournaments for that.
And Esau was pissed. He was like, no!
Y'all the weakest link. You Edomites is the weakest fucking link.
And they not smart at all. Jake inventing everything.
And if it is some physical feature looking Edomite that's at the top, he is Jake. You know? For the most part.
Yeah, you got your...
I'm saying they got their warriors and shit like Brock Lesnar.
That's a purebred Edomite.
That's an Edomite. Edom. That's an Edomite. Brock Lesnar, that is an Edomite.
It says, "Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine."
Treasure
Yes,
to
that
the Lord, man.
word that activates us and gives us that life.
And
That's why in the kingdom, the Lord's gonna make it permanent. You know what I'm saying? The Lord's gonna make it permanent.
What's that one where it says like he's gonna make Israel like beauty of all kingdoms? I can't even word it right now. Like
Unified? You say,
I'm not sure, man. I'm not even sure. I know there's a scripture where it's talking about Israel is the beauty of all the kingdoms or all the nations. Something like that.
a kingdom of priests and a nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel.
Holy being separate, but also pure.
Yeah.
We're pure, man. There's and Apostle Gabar went into it, man, about how like gold is pure, and the reason why it's so precious and rare is because there's nothing mixed in with it. We're like with the nations, their customs, their behavior is common. It's frequently committed. It's normal shit. But with Israel, our customs are like above that. You can't just, because it takes discipline to do what we do. When you think about it, it takes discipline, it takes strength, it takes a certain mentality on to be a priest, a king. But if you that's why my mother always used to say, quit acting like a heathen. Because the heathen, they'll be acting like each other. We act totally different from you, man. That goes back to what we were just saying. We're far more different from you, man. What did Ezra say about the one lily, the one grapevine, the one plant, flower? you know, I mean, I could go even as far as talking about grafting in, man. The whole process with grafting in, you keep the original, but you're able to connect something with it to make it look even more abstract and beautiful in the end. That's what the Lord did with us. Beautified. What, I think that's the word. It was like beautified.
I mean, it's in 3 different verses. Yeah, it has to be with grafting. It has to have the same. You have to have the same species.
Exactly. But imagine like a regular tree with the green leaves, but you graft these other, the same genes.
Yeah, same species.
Same species. What started out as green leaves is going to have colored leaves on them.
T-I-F-I.
It
gotta be F-Y.
But yeah, anyway, man, just going into, but we're far more different, far more abstract. The regular shit, we're able to make things, you know, elegant.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, beautified.
If y'all ain't,
Beautified.
I said 5.
did y'all find it?
It's 3 different precepts though.
What do we got? So we got.
It's gonna die.
Psalms 149:4 says, "For the Lord Yahweh taketh pleasure in his people. He will beautify the meek with salvation."
That's the one I'm thinking about.
It close out in a minute.
Yeah.
It keeps
How many percentage is that?
3%.
3? Damn. Yeah, I got a cord, but I ain't got no.
Like regular USB.
Yeah, I ain't got the regular kind. I got the other
USB-C.
USB-C shit. Yeah.
It's 41 minutes though.
All right, we can close mine out because it's gonna die.
Yeah, this one got.
You got a
You
port.
got the regular.
Is it working?
No, he needs Type C.
No. Is that an iPhone charger?
He has a USB though.
He needed another the wall.
You just need the USB, and the other side got to be for the iPhone.
Both of them, because
That's the
he
only way
got
you're going
both
to get to
Type
use
C.
it. You need to
Type C.
place it in there and then put it in the phone.
Okay, I can place it in this stuff. Oh, well, damn.
This is Psalms 149
That's
and 1.
cool. Close mine now, and then we still got my account.
Psalms 149 and 1. It says, "Praise ye the Lord
Closing
Yahweh.
out in a minute anyway.
Sing unto the Lord Yahweh a new song, and his praise in the congregation of saints." It says, "Let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Let the children of Zion be joyful in their king. Let them praise his name in the dance. Let them sing praises unto him with the timbrel and harp." There's going to be a lot of singing and dancing, all right, when we get this victory. Okay? It says, verse 4. Yeah, no, I went up a few verses.
Okay.
It says, "For the Lord Yahweh taketh pleasure in his people. He will beautify the meek with salvation. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing the praises of God be in their mouth and a two-edged sword in their hand." That's going to be literal. It says, "To execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people." See that? Vocab. It says, "To bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron." So y'all going into slavery. To
That's
execute.
actually the word slavery or slave goes back to a white servant, I believe. That's the word slave.
Yeah.
Goes back to a white
I think I
slave,
remember that.
a white servant.
It says, "To execute upon them the judgment written." You see, judgment's written all through this book.
They were always meant to go back to being a servant.
God. It says, "This honor have all his saints. Praise ye the Lord Yahweh."
Actually, they're going to be destroyed. But what about that beautified one?
Yeah, I read that was verse 4. It says, "For the Lord taketh pleasure in his people. He will beautify the meek with salvation."
Right.
And then you got Isaiah 16.
Well, that part, the beautified with the meekness, because we're being humble about everything that's going on. This is our reward. And to beautify means to embellish or adorn. And I love going into Revelation, where it talks about how the bride that was adorned, all right, you know, we're going to be improved. Our appearance is going to be majestic, you know, elegant.
You know that word adorn, you can find that in that John 3:16.
Yeah.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. See, the word world goes into cosmos, but when you go deep into it, it goes into what I just say, the word? Adorn. An alignment. So essentially us being aligned for the Lord.
Well, in Baruch, it tells you that the Lord gave all his knowledge and ways to Jacob. But then when you go into the next chapter, it talks about how happy art thou, all Israel, for things of the Most High are shewed unto thee. And it's going to illuminate them, which is this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So again, we're going to, earlier you mentioned about Esau putting us at the bottom of the totem pole and all that, but we're going to come right back on top, but even further.
On top.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that and with spiritual powers to add on top of that.
This is 2nd Ezra chapter 2, verse 10. It says, therefore, it says, thus saith the Lord unto Esdras, tell my people that I will give them the kingdom of Jerusalem, which I would have given unto Israel. Their glory also will I take unto me, and give thee the everlasting tabernacles, which I have prepared for them. They shall have the tree of life for an ointment of sweet Savior.
See, and the tree of life is that everlasting wisdom, that eternal wisdom. You see, once Adam once had, but lost it due to that, what happened in the garden. Okay, we're gonna get that wisdom back. All right, we're gonna know how to deal with the elements. We're gonna know how to fly. Okay, we're gonna know how to mind read. Telepathy. That's reserved for the elect. The elect of the elect.
We've been stunned in this time.
Rituals.
It says
we're gonna have keen, eye-hand coordination, being mission shots in the kingdom. Tight and knotted cords.
It says, they shall neither labor nor be weary. Go and ye shall receive.
Yep, you should not labor or be weary. So what does that mean? We're gonna be live,
It says, go and ye shall receive.
Hey, you shall have no energy drinks.
No need.
We're gonna have new bodies.
You're gonna wake up.
We ain't gonna have to stand. We're gonna be
floating. It says, pray for few days unto you, that they may be shortened. The kingdom is already prepared for you. Watch.
See, and that's all we have to do. Okay, that's all we have to do is watch, because and pray that the Lord shorten the days, which is actually that's what's happening. The Lord is shortening these days. Okay, if you look at history, 20 years ago, it's not the same. Days 20 years ago is not the same as days in the present. Weeks go by fast. You know why? Because the Lord is speeding up the process. And what Scripture say? What He shall overturn. And part of them, if one can grab that, that's right. It is. Yep. Exactly.
Hey man, the Lord is doing all of this for us. That's what you're gonna understand. Earlier you said, we're gonna see whose God is real, this and that. The Lord is coming back to make a statement. I mean, the word standard itself is an obvious sign, extremely obvious.
Yep.
The Lord is coming back in every thought. I mean, what about bringing every thought into obedience? That's going to consist of everybody knowing without a doubt who the Lord is and who the chosen are, what the purpose of life is really for, and who you're made to be. All of it's going to be common knowledge. And you're not going to have to go into a library and be like, who are we as a people today? What is our job? No, you're going to know it.
Yeah, so we're going to know the Lord too. Yep. Right. Yep.
It's Ezekiel chapter 21, verse 27. I will overturn it, and it shall be no more.
So part of Him shortening these days is the Lord overturning this kingdom over to what? To be destroyed. And that goes back to the first precept we brought out was 2nd Ezra 6 and 7. The parting asunder of the times. You see? Go ahead.
It says, until He come, whose right it is.
Whose right it is, that's Yahweh Shai. Okay, because He's going to lead the charge. All right, and then He has His joint heirs. All right, the saints. All right, that's going to take part in that inheritance. Okay.
And I will give it Him.
He's going to give it Him. So the Lord, just like Daniel 7 and 9 goes into it. All right, the kingdoms finally, and the Gentiles, their rulership finally being over with. All right. and the Lord giving Yahweh Shai that kingdom, you know. All right, and it's all because of Yahweh.
I beheld the throne cast down.
There we go. And the Ancient of Days did sit. Right. You know, got some fun.
This is Jeremiah 32 and 37. It says, "Behold, I will gather them out of all countries, whether I have driven them in my anger."
Right, and that's dealing with Israel, because we the ones that was scattered throughout the four corners of the earth among the heathen. There's countless scriptures that go into that. Countless scriptures. That's part of the
So
prophecy.
I can't y'all, some of you simple ass Israelites can't get the understanding that the Israelites will look like different
Nations.
look like different nations, man. We've been in different nations since the beginning.
That's right. Exactly. Exactly.
We've been scattered amongst these.
Right.
It says, "And in my fury and in great wrath, and I will bring them again unto this place, and I will cause them to dwell safely."
He said in fury and in great wrath. You see? And so it's gonna be a show. The Lord's gonna put on and it's gonna be a worldwide event.
Well, it's like you said, a worldwide event. Get that out of Jeremiah. And when we said that the Lord delivered the children out of Egypt, we delivered them out of the land of the north. Because that was a big wide event back in the ancient world.
Yeah. Oh,
and leaving out of Egypt. That was a huge event, to the point where that's still being talked about thousands of years later. Countless of movies on it. So that's how big that event was, man. They make movies about it, stories about it, replica spin-offs about it. So as big as leaving out of Egypt was, this next go round, the Lord's going to deliver us out of this Egypt. And he's going to do it in a way better fashion.
This is Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 4. "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north."
See? Because remember, he did that. Now, how did the Lord deliver us out of Egypt? He began with the plague in Egypt. See? He began to destroy Egypt from the inside out. And then ultimately, he destroyed Pharaoh and its military. Same thing he's going to do again. Your military is going to be destroyed all over again.
It was to a point where even the Egyptians couldn't put off what was really going on.
Yeah.
They tried to replicate, duplicate, hide things. And eventually it just took over the whole land. All the plagues took over the whole land. They couldn't stop it or stall it. It's the same way we're here, man.
Well, you notice,
Esau's losing control here.
oh no, sorry. You notice before those plagues came, the Lord sent Moses with the staff and Aaron with the staff.
The message.
To show the Lord's power.
Message.
And that's right. That's exactly what's happening now. He sent the prophet to show his power.
And Moses didn't whoop Pharaoh ass,
Right.
didn't fight, didn't do nothing.
Nope. It's
He
totally
just said, let my people go. The Lord said, let his people go. That's all he
Right.
said. And that's what we said,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
Let the Lord's people go.
Well, I had that back in
But
Jeremiah.
in Isaiah 14 goes into how Esau ain't letting us go.
Yeah.
He's essentially holding us hostage.
Well, I have that.
And he's trying to literally take our soul.
I had that earlier, and I still have it again.
Well, after that, we'll read that again.
And this is Jeremiah 16 and 14. It says, "Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of the Egypt."
Yeah, so that great deliverance is gonna be of old now.
Yeah. It's gonna be like a
It's gonna be a past thing.
It's a past story. Yeah.
Go ahead.
It says something like a legend. It
Yeah,
says,
legend.
"But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them."
See, not just the land of the north, from all the lands, man.
That's right.
So how powerful would that be? He's gonna bring his remnant from four corners of the earth, man. So you're gonna be seeing Israelites being beamed up all around.
Yeah.
It's a remnant out here, man, that needs to be delivered.
It says, "And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers."
See, I will bring them again into the land. See, it keeps on saying, bring back the captivity. Bring them again. Because we was once there.
Right.
You see?
will bring
He was
them
once
again.
there, now he's gonna bring us back. Get into the fullness of the Gentiles. That's in Matthew. Into the fullness of the Gentiles, Matthew 24. Right after it goes into 70 AD. So like 22 maybe. Fullness of the Gentiles.
What you say?
Joel 2.
No, not Joel. So the gospel. Would it be in it may not be Matthew 24.
Yeah.
No,
Luke 21.
That's not I knew it.
21 and
24.
all right, I got it. Luke 21 and verse 24. It says, "And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations."
That's exactly what happened. We're like
That diaspora. Let's talk about the diaspora.
It says
This is in the time period of 70 AD.
again, "And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations.
Yep.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the
We try to the Gentiles into the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled, man. Okay? Because they was gonna take over our land. Ezekiel 36, Ezekiel 35. When they said, aha. Okay? And they took over our homeland. So until the fulfillment of the Gentiles come in, we're coming to that point where those heathens are gonna leave. They fulfilled their time there. Now it's time for the Israelites to be replaced there. Okay? And to the fulfillment of the Gentiles to fulfill. Read that again. How does this go?
It goes again until the times of the Gentiles, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Okay? So the Israelites, we left. We had to flee. And some were taken into captivity, and some had fled. This Yahweh was prophesying of 70 AD. All right? So we haven't been back to Jerusalem ever since then, as a nation. Then you had Ben Ami and all of them in the early 90s, and they went back and all that. So they select. They got a nuclear bombs and shit.
Being made to serve the armed mandatory.
You know?
They ain't even supposed to be no.
Show what the fuck they think of you, the real Israelites, and they know you the real Israelites. You know?
And you had in what is it? Drawing a blank, and they came out of West Africa. It was a recent African map drawer person. Did y'all see this on YouTube? At one point in time before Africa was called Africa, or the western parts, it was known as
Negro land.
No, it was called Leda Orium Terra, which was translated to the land of the Jews. See, they've known who we are, man. They know where we dwell.
It was all in that region. Yes, it was
Exactly.
the West Coast.
Exactly, and it showed where Israel was at that time. But they know who we are, man.
They always will.
Yeah,
They always
They know where we dwell.
It's records. If you got to think. When you watch these old ancient movies, I always watch these old ancient movies. You will see that the kings, they always have their counselors. And when they have their counselors, they talk about matters of war or matters of peace or matters of what they do to extend their establishment or whatever it may be. Like I'm going back over the Bourgeois right now. And the counselors in these movies, they always get to talking about the history. Well, let's see what the books say. Let's go back to the records. They all have the records. See, the nations, the top elite of the nations, the kings of the earth, what the scriptures speak about, that they're the kings. So the kings always have records of what nation is what nation, who was in this land first, who was displaced out of this land, who took over this land. They have all that record, man.
Yeah, it was 1588 map of Africa, Luda, which sounds like Judah, Luda Ora Terra. Latin for land of the Jews. It was a 1588 map of Africa that was drawn by geographer Livio Sanuto.
I need that.
Labeled the Congo area as Luda Orum Terra in his 1588 map of Africa that is Latin for the land of the Jews.
And do they say what side it was?
It was, well, it said it came from the, it shows a map, it's hard to like dig it up, but like it shows from the transatlantic slave trade, it says captives taken from Africa to the Americas and Europe, 16th to the 19th century.
Yes.
Yes. It shows in the southeast part of Africa, parts of Madagascar. It even, well, they call Judah in particular Garboons. When you go look into that word, it actually goes back to a city in Africa, western part of Africa. It was called Gabon. So,
Like Nigeria.
Yeah.
They used to call the top western part of Africa Negro land.
Yep, Negro.
Fort Judah.
Yeah, Fort Judah and the Ashanti dynasty.
Fort Judah, yep. So we know who we are, man. The Lord has blessed us through the Holy Spirit that, see, he used Esau to dig these things up. We ain't got all this fucking money to go over there and dig these things up. No. Y'all got proud, all right? You got proud and you start putting it in books and putting it, out here for the elect.
Well, they had for July 4th, I don't know where it was, some state, they had a little parade. And they had an Edomite on a horse with a rope and an Indian girl roped up,
Got her,
and then they
got her all in dress. Yeah, man.
They show it like it's entertainment.
Yeah.
Hey, remember the scripture we used to always bring out? Watch this. This Jeremiah 8:1. It says, at that time, said the Lord, they shall bring out the bones of the kings of Judah, and the bones of the princes, and the bones of the priests, and the bones of the prophets, and the bones of the inhabitants of Jerusalem out their graves.
Yep. So they did the search. They went to search things out. Yep.
Yeah, they might have put a lot of them. I'm not here that the Vatican has a lot of those artifacts.
Yeah, they got all those things. They got all.
They got 52 miles underground worth of artifacts.
Yeah, come on, man. They got all of our stuff.
Yep.
Come on, they probably got certain images of the Lord.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah, they got all the
real
icons down
real
here.
true images.
Yep.
So, it was painters and come on now. You mean Jake wasn't in the crowd drawing the Lord and drawing and stuff like that? The same thing nowadays, man.
This is Isaiah chapter.
You had a war art at that time though too. Well,
Renaissance, yeah.
Iconoclasm too.
Yeah, I'm about to say they got whole icon
They
faces.
paid a lot of money.
That's the Renaissance.
They were paying a lot of money to hide certain paintings and artifacts.
But it didn't work.
Exactly.
You can't do it.
I'm about to say that.
He'll always lose.
Go ahead. I'll read
Someone
this.
dropped this fool for me.
This is Isaiah chapter 11, verse 11. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again, the second time, to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea.
So these are the lands that Israel is scattered in. So the Lord is going to deliver all of the remnant out of each land that there was named in the scriptures, and deliver the elect.
That's right.
And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth.
You can't make this up. You can't. Man, I tried to find.
It's all in there.
I tried to find. There's only 2 places on the planet that have the name North to its city or to its planet. It's like North England, I think, or something like that, and then North America. And then I've done lessons on how North America even came to be called North America. It's through the Isthmus of Panama. Right before that, it was called the mainland for the North America, but it was just known as the Americas. What made it north to south was the Isthmus of Panama. So, deliver us from the land of the north, from the daughter of Babylon, which is Edom, Psalms 137:7.
This is it.
It says, the envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off.
And that's what you're witnessing right now. The tabernacle of David, the northern and the southern is coming together again. Man. This is what Yahushua prophesied about. He told them that we were going to be restored over here. That's what he told his disciples. This is the restoring right now. Okay, we had a long hate for one another for years, centuries.
Thousands.
The Northern Kingdom was siding with each trying to come against us, man. So it was some real deep hate with the Northern and the Southern Kingdom, man. Through the split. And it's funny. It ain't funny. It's just the spirit, because Solomon is ironic, right? Solomon, after Solomon, everything split up. Solomon got to come back and bring everything back together again. Solomon's Yahushua.
Right. Yeah,
so it don't even make sense. He bringing it back together, man.
That's what he prophesied his kingdom will be everlasting dominion, everlasting kingdom.
It always lines up.
It says,
go ahead, that's the last scripture.
And Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim, but they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines toward the west, and they shall spoil them of the east together. They shall lay their hand upon Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall obey them.
Woo. Ass kicking.
That's right.
Yeah, so we're gonna kick Moab and Edom's ass, and then Ammon gonna submit. Now you see that?
That's it. I would definitely like to give all going on and praises to
Yahweh by Hashem, Yahushai by Hashem, and Kakadash.
Double honor to Apostle Brother Hillstone. Peace, salutation, and hope, and let this to work in truth, sincerity. Abba, Abba,
Abba, Abba.
Shalom.